All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're doing it again. We're doing another cheap or maybe expensive fly rod video from Walmart. If you guys have been following the video long enough, you've probably seen the cheapest Amazon fly rod video that we did. I've got a lot of feedback and a lot of you guys actually bought that rod. So I did a video last year on the cheapest Walmart fly rod, and I kind of bought that rod knowing it was gonna not be very good. It was a really cheap rod and it worked. We caught some fish, but a lot of you guys had questions about the other rod that was at Walmart that's more expensive and basically the best one you can buy at Walmart. So I'm gonna go buy it. We're gonna come home, tear into it, review it a little bit, put it together, take it out on the stream, fish with it, and tell you guys what I think. And at the end of the video, stick around because I'm gonna give that rod away to one of you guys. Make sure you follow me on Facebook and Instagram because that's where we're gonna be giving it away. Stay tuned, let's go get this rod. Alrighty, here we are at the old fishing section at Wally World. Let's see what we got here. Alright, the Cortland Fairplay. This is the rod, the most expensive fly rod that they have at Walmart. And looks like it is a 5/6 weight. Whatever that means. It's $51, so that's a pretty good deal. Comes with a rod and reel, and looks like you can buy the same reel with line on it for $30. So they're saying that the rod is $20, and they have all kinds of tippet and leaders in the Fairplay line. It looks like hemostats, nippers, nets, all kinds of stuff under the Fairplay line. That's actually a decent net, rubberized. So this is the one you guys were asking about. Let's toss it in the cart. If you're a beginning fly fisher, you're gonna need some leader and tippet, so you might as well grab a Fairplay 3-pack of 4X tippet for this 5/6 weight. It's only $4. And we'll get a spool of tippet for $2 to match that up. Let's go back home. We're back home with the Cortland Fairplay rod here. This is their a little bit better rod, and a lot of you guys are asking about this if I've used it, and I have not, so we picked it up today. Let's pop this thing open, see what we got. First thing I do notice is that it says 5/6 weight. I don't really understand that, but I guess that's just how they do it. I don't know. The other thing is it's an 8-foot rod. A general 5 or 6 weight rod that you get for trout fishing is going to be 8'6" to 9 feet long. So having a 8-foot one, I've never really liked that all that much because it just feels a little bit stiff when you're casting. Like the rod should be a little bit longer, the tip should be a little bit longer, and they don't seem to be as soft at the tip, and I don't know, it just doesn't feel right when you're casting it. But we're gonna give this one a go. It looks like it's made, you know, quite a bit better than that last one, than that Silver Stream rod that we got. So let's pop this thing out. And it's a 4-piece. I've seen a lot of 8-foot rods that are 3 pieces. It's set up left-hand retrieve. I'm gonna leave it like that because I don't want to take it all apart, but usually I'm a right-hand retrieve. Most of the time if you cast right-handed, you want to reel left-handed. So that's set up just like that from the factory. This is a completely plastic reel, you can see. But it is smooth. It's probably one of the smoother reels that I've messed around with from these Walmart and Amazon rods. It seems to function pretty good. And the one thing I like really good about this, a lot of these rods, for some reason, when you're reeling forward, it has a free spool and it just spins and spins and spins. And I personally hate that. A lot of people don't really care. They kind of like that. I don't like that. I like the click and a little bit of engagement that you can hear there. And then obviously when the drag pulls, it's louder, but there is a little tension knob here for the drag, which seems like works actually decent. You can get it pretty tight, so that seems to work all right. And really, if you're using a 5-weight rod, I mean, honestly, this is just a line holder. You're not really using it as a reel. You're not probably gonna use the drag all that much. It's basically just for holding the line. So you don't really need anything all that good. I would rather have a higher end rod and line than I would have a higher end reel. All right, so let's see what this line looks like. It doesn't feel too bad. There's no like rubbing or resistance from the spool on the frame of that, which sometimes you get with these cheaper reels, so that's good. It's all pretty good. I can tell you already that this line isn't obviously going to be all that high quality, but it's got some memory to it. It's not all that supple, but that's what you get with a lower quality line. But I think this line will probably be all right. I would assume this is a sort of a weight forward floating line, and actually it falls on the floor pretty smoothly. It doesn't have a ton of memory there, so maybe it's not that bad. It's just been sitting on the spool for a little while. We'll see, especially when you get these in colder temperatures, these cheaper lines, they tend to get kind of coiled up on you, but we'll try it out. First impressions on the reel, seems to be all right. I remember this is a $50 setup. I've spent more on fly line than this whole entire setup, so you can buy fly line that's over $100 if you want to, so you gotta realize what you're kind of getting here. Portland Fairplay 8-foot 6-weight. Got a cork looking handle, I don't know what it is, and a plastic reel seat, which is what you would kind of expect on a cheaper rod like this. Yeah, it's foam. It looks like a cork handle, but they probably save some money by going to a foam handle, and actually it doesn't feel all that bad. Probably better to have a nice foam grip like this as opposed to really cheap cork, because they don't last, they don't hold up all that well. So it's probably good that they put foam on here. There are no alignment dots, which is fine because a lot of rods don't have them. It's just handy to have them. But again, on some of these cheaper rods, they put alignment dots, and a lot of times the dots don't line up with the guides. So do the old fly shop wiggle test here. It actually seems pretty good. I would say this is definitely not a 6-weight, closer to a 5-weight, just feeling it. But again, I'm gonna fish with it and see what I think later. And it's actually a lot softer than I thought it was gonna be. Sometimes these shorter rods, like I said, are a little bit stiff. Because this is a cheaper line, this is how it comes. It just comes with a cut end like this. So you're gonna have to hook on your own leader. I did pick up this 3-pack of 4X leader. And I also picked up a little spool of Fairplay tippet. A little bit more high-end lines have a perfection, or have a welded loop at the end. And then your tapered leaders will have a perfection loop at the end. And you would just do a loop-to-loop connection. And that way you can easily and quickly switch out your tippet if you ever break it or you use it up and it gets kind of chewed up. You can easily swap it out fast without having to retie everything. Get some heavier monofilament, anything from 20 to 30 pound. I'm gonna use this because I had it in the basement, maximum of 30 pound. And I'm going to nail knot a piece of this to the end of this rod, of this fly line here. So there's 100 videos on YouTube how to do it. It takes some practice to get it, but you'll only really have to do this probably once, and it'll last you years and years and years on here. You won't have to keep tying this knot. So I've gone ahead and made a nail knot here. And now all we're gonna do is put a perfection loop at the end of this, which will make a loop in our mono, and we should be good to go. And so there is our perfection loop at the end of our fly line. So now you have a loop here. If you have any big name leaders like Scientific Angler, that's my favorite, Rio, anybody like that, that usually has a loop at the end. You can loop to loop connect this, but we got these Cortland ones here. So all we have to do is put another perfection loop in this, and let's unwind this and just see what this looks like. And you'll see when you get this out, this thing's a coily mess, but all you gotta do is take this and run it through your hands, kind of heat it up, stretch it a little bit, and it'll take the memory out of that. You can see it straightened it right out. You'll see it's tapered the thick end, and then the thinner end down here is 4X. You'll just want to make a perfection loop on the thick end. We'll do that real quick. This is your fly line coming from your reel. This is your leader. Put one inside of the other. Feed the thin end up through. Pull it all out. Pull them together like this. Get them around those knots. You can see how that goes together, and just pull it tight like that. And I wanted to show you guys this because I know a lot of people that are going to be buying this are probably new to fly fishing, so I really wanted to show you guys how to do that. I think that's pretty important. It's a basic
fly fishing knot and skill you got to know, you know, whenever you're setting up a new rod or just out in the field if you break something. So like that a lot. It's nice and soft. It's definitely not a 6 weight. It's probably more like a 5. So, but anyways, we're gonna go out on the stream here, a couple different places. We'll try some dries, we'll try some nymphs. We'll pretty much try everything and show you guys how it works. I'll tell you how I like it and hopefully get some fish on it. So stay tuned, meet you guys out on the water. All right, I'm gonna loosen this drag up a little bit. There we go. Cast's pretty good. Keep getting hooked on my GoPro. That's about as far as I want to cast, but this casts just fine for, you know, fishing smaller streams and rivers. Yeah, that works. The price, it's not bad. The line doesn't feel like really stiff and cheap feeling like a lot of the cheap lines do. They feel kind of plasticky. They have some memory. And once I get this rod to a stream setting like this, it actually works really well. Nobody's hungry yet. It's still April. Water's still pretty cold. Here we go. Loads up good. Looks like we got a brown. There we go. Okay. Just caught our first fish on the Walmart Cortland rod. Little brown trout. So I got that guy on a ginger woolly bugger. It's weightless. These fish are kind of hanging out. There's a bunch of fish kind of hanging out right in this little soft spot right here. And I tried nymphing it. They didn't really want anything to do with it. So I'm going black woolly bugger here. I got a little bead on it. There we go. Brook trout. Get him upstream here out of this current. He's actually a decent sized one. He's not hooked all that good. Shoot. See if we can get him in the net here. Oh, jeez. Okay. Not a bad fish. Right there. Okay. Ouch. So, we're going nymph rig. I got a Euro jig with a barbless hook because I'm probably going to get snagged as my bottom fly. It's a copper john up to just a little black stone. So I'm going to run this little indicator up above it all. See if we can make something happen here. Hopefully I don't get snagged too badly. Let's try it out. Right here, dude. This is the one. There we go. Oh yeah, he's got me in a rock. Yeah, he's got me. I'm out of the rock, obviously, but he's got full control. I'll keep this line tight. I think he's on that little black stone. Oh, that's a good trip. We got him. Okay. This guy's wearing somebody else's fly. Get that out of him. I'll take that home. Alright, so I'm in this little stream. I just tied on this mini sex dungeon. Why? I don't really know. Kinda just want to see how it casts. Maybe something will come after it. I don't know. See it from a mile away. It's pretty funny. Ah, it casts alright. Oh! Oh! No way, dude! Sex dungeon. Wish I was kidding, but I ain't. Boom.
Alright guys, so this video is already long enough. I didn't want to make you sit there and watch me fish for a couple hours, so I'm going to overlay some more fishing footage while I talk about this rod. We're back home with the Cortland Fairplay rod here. So I didn't get to fish a ton this year because we're right in the middle of building a cabin. If you guys are subscribers, you've probably seen some of the cabin videos. But when I did get out fishing, I had this rod with me. So I did put a bunch of hours on it and got really comfortable using it. And I'm going to tell you what I think about it. So we'll start out first with the quality of the rod itself. Now this thing beat around in the back of my truck. I had it in and out of the drift boat. Took it all kinds of places. And it still looks brand new. No issues with it. The quality of the actual rod itself seems to be pretty good, if not better than most of the cheaper like Amazon rod kits that you'll get. So the rod itself actually seems like pretty decent quality. Everything, all the wraps are nice, the guides are nice and straight. There's really no flaws with it whatsoever. The foam fake cork handle was fine. It does get kind of dirty, but so does cork, but at least it stays intact and doesn't fall apart on you. The reel, it's a plastic reel. I can't speak to the longevity of this reel, but for what I've been using it for, I've had no issues with it. It seems to be nice and smooth. It holds the line well, the drag still works good. Everything's good. So no complaints about the reel. I think you can switch it from left to right hand retrieve if you want to. You can take it apart and flip it over. Now we'll talk about the functionality or how this thing fishes, I guess. The line gets the job done, but I think it could be better with a better line on here. The reason I say that is because this is only an 8-foot rod, and when you're casting longer distances, it doesn't feel like it has the power to kind of shoot that line out there. The line actually feels really light on the end of this. This is, I believe, weight forward, tapered weight forward floating line. Because this is a shorter rod and because this line just feels a little bit light to me, it's hard to get some of those longer casts, especially in the wind. So I think one thing you could do to upgrade this rod would be to just get a better fly line on here. I think you could go with a 5 or 6 weight floating weight forward line on here and you'd be completely fine. When I fished this with double nymph rigs, it definitely would have been easier to have a little bit longer rod to turn those over, and a little bit heavier of a head on this to flip that rig over, but it did work. I think this rod really shines in a smaller setting. Like the stream that I fished in the beginning part of this section, I really had no issues and I had a lot of fun fishing this rod. A little bit shorter rod is better in that setting. You're not getting hooked up on trees all the time. You don't have to make really long casts. And there's not a lot of wind in those settings. You're kind of tucked in the trees. So where I think this rod had some downfalls is when I got onto the bigger water. For short little casts it was okay, but trying to make any any longer casts of this is really hard to get accurate casts, especially if you're a new fly fisher and you haven't casted a fly rod a bunch. Nymphing, having a little bit longer rod is better because you want to keep your line off the water and mend your line, and having that rod a little bit longer helps you get the line off the water. But you would be totally okay if you bought this to go trout fishing. If you want to go to Walmart, if you have 50 bucks burning a hole in your pocket, you want to buy a fly rod and you want to get your fly rod from Walmart, I would definitely not deter you from getting this. I think it'd be an okay starter fly rod. I think there's some companies that make better ones, but they're more expensive, and maybe we'll talk about those in different videos down the road. But I definitely think that if you want to start out and get this rod, or if you need it as a backup rod, definitely pick it up. And down the road, after you fish it a while, you could always upgrade the line, and I think it would make it a better casting rod. So there it is, the most expensive Walmart fly rod. You guys asked for it. There it is. Hope you guys liked the video. Leave your comments down below what you think of this rod, and if you guys have bought this rod, let me know what you guys think of it, because I actually enjoyed fishing with it, and I completely forgot that this was a cheap $50 combo when I was catching fish. And that's the fun of it. You don't need to spend a lot of money to get into the sport. Now for the giveaway part, I'm going to give this away to one of you. Let's cut to the next scene and you guys will find out how you're going to be able to get this rod. I was trying to think of how I wanted to give this rod away. I was thinking of making a post on social media and picking a winner and shipping it to one of you guys. And then I thought I could go fishing with it on the river somewhere and give it to some kid or someone that's just starting out fly fishing. But what I decided to do is basically leave it at a fishing spot for you guys to come find, and maybe you can fish with it, have a good day on the water. So I'm not going to tell you exactly where it is. You're going to have to figure that out on your own. But right here, I've parked down here. This is a power line that goes right down to the river. This is a cemetery over here. It's not creepy, don't worry about it. Follow this power line. It goes right down to the river. There's a little walking trail. And I'm going to stash it down by the water. So if you come to find this thing, bring a spinning rod or something in case it's not there. Fish the river. It's open all fall for you guys to catch some fish. So I got a little note attached that kind of tells what's going on. I'm going to give you guys the tippet, the spool of tippet, and the leaders that I have left over, and also a few flies. There's 3 wet flies, a hopper, 2 streamers, 3 nymphs, and even an indicator. So you guys should be all set to start fishing with this thing. All right, so we're at the end of kind of the power line here at the end of the cemetery. There's a little sign here, attention anglers. And here's the trail. We just walk right through here. Pretty beaten down path. And we just follow this right down to the river. So if you guys know where this is, don't put it in the comments. Let's let people figure it out on their own. I will give you guys one hint. The river out here, this is the Kennebec River, and we're on the east side of the river. Nice little walking trail that comes this way. You can also access this from a little public park up the road. You can figure it out. Here we go. There's the river, looking sweet. Let's go down here. Kind of comes out on this little beach here. And the water is actually pretty low right now, but there's decent wading up and down this shoreline. There's a nice little riffle right here, and a few more upstream on this side, so you can walk upstream and fish up in there. I'm gonna give you guys one more hint, because some of you might still not know where we are. Right down here, downstream from where we are, is the confluence of the Sandy River. So this is where we walk down. Right over here you can see where we came down on the little beach. I walked downstream a little ways. There's some trees here with some roots showing. I'm gonna pick this one right here. We're gonna stick it right in here. Right down in there. just like that. All right, yeah, you can't see that at all. Here we go. There's the tree. The rod's up in there. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Catch you guys in the next video, and good luck. If one of you guys gets the rod, leave it down in the comments below or message me on Instagram or Facebook. Love to know who gets it. Catch you guys in the next video. Well, you can catch smallmouth on it.
Baby, you